Hey guys, GTR here with a old school replay cast. I haven't done these in maybe 2.5 years, and I felt like it would be a good time to revisit this series as how long has the game been out for? Since 1998. I mean, we're nearly approaching the 30th year anniversary of StarCraft in 3 years' time, so this particular game is from May of 2002. It is a Zerg versus Protoss. If we look at the players, we have jumbled letters. This is what the GameEye ladder allowed you to do, was to have Korean or Hangul letters in your username. And in this case, because Korean was not a supported language at the time, for users with English locales for their Windows, it would be showing up as garbled ASCII letters. But anyway, going on to this game, we are on the classic map Lost Temple. This was pretty much the de facto map that was played by everyone until, I'd say, Luna came out, and then Luna became the de facto map, and then became Fighting Spirit after that. But here at the 12 o'clock position, as the Blue Zerg, is ChOJJa, or some people call it, ChOJJa. I just call him ChOJJa. Pretty good Zerg, actually. StarCraft Hall of Famer. Made it to a couple of Major League Finals where he lost against, I believe, Nada and Casey in the OSL, and in the MSL. Actually, no, he won in MSL against, I forgot who it was. Might have been Silver. Zerg versus Zerg, but I might be wrong on that. But yes, a very accomplished player, one of the best Zergs in his prime. As we can see him going for a 9-pull speed. Actually, you can see how antiquated this build is. You see how little drones there are on the patches. But let's talk about our Protoss play here, and it is JUNITOS. So JUNITOS was a Protoss player on the team Pirate to Space, who eventually became NBC Game Hero, and he was one of the up-and-coming players on that team. He was actually very well respected as an amateur, but unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to break through and accomplish what everyone thought he would eventually become, because he had a huge stage fright issue that was well documented in the Korean scene. And everyone was like, oh my god, JUNITOS, he does so well in these offline qualifiers, yet in these offline games, just wasn't able to form to everyone's expected standards. And one of the most infamous games out there is him versus Boxer on Forte, where Boxer did a lot of typing to throw off JUNITOS, and JUNITOS was a nervous wreck, pretty much, and lost the game because of the typing. And that's why we had the Kesper rule, where you could not type into the chat during a game unless you were indicating to pause, because of that particular game, as the chatting was a bit of a psychological warfare that the Kesper organization did not want to have influence their games. So that is a bit of history on him. You can see how different this game is. May 2002, we've got a front hatchery here. It's not even building one at the expansion. We've got a 9-pull speed. At least ChOJJa is droning up a bit. He's got, I can't really tell how many that is. I reckon, say, 11 or so drones. You've got to remember as well, on a map like Lost Temple, or a majority of the maps at the time, the main bases had 8 minerals, so it was more advantageous to Zerg players to have 8 mineral patches in the main bases, because you need less drones to saturate the bases. And as we all know, drone counts are typically lower than Terran or Protoss, with their SCVs and probes respectively. You do see here, JUNITOS is pushing out. He's got a 5 Zealots along with a probe, trying to put on some pressure. Although with the speed and this group of Zerglings, ChOJJa should be able to deal with this. He is building a creep colony. And do we see JUNITOS running up to the ramp? Yes, he will. Let's see if he decides to block the ramp. He's got one Zealot here. He's got another Zealot just moving Maybe to scout that expansion? No, looks like, okay, Junitos is just going to go to the back of this base. And this is something that we see today in the modern day meta, is getting the surface area to stop the Zerglings from maximizing the area of space to get damage into those zealots. So let's see if ChOJJa decides to build a Sunken to deal with this, or if he's just going to go one by one. Looks like ChOJJa's not decided yet. Maybe he's just concerned that these zealots will move into the mineral line to inflict some damage. So if we go back to Junitos' main here, got the Cybernetics core on the way. Can you believe it's nearly the past halfway done, and we're 5 minutes 50 into the game? Something we don't really see in this modern era, as we do see now Junitos trying to get some damage done onto the drones. Doesn't get too much damage done. Looks like a couple of Zerglings. ChOJJa not even getting gas at the moment. He's just content and sitting on these 3 hatcheries, droning up like hell. He knows that Junitos can't really do too much to him outside of these 3 zealots, because he's got such a plentiful amount of Zerglings to deal with any attacks. He's also got this Overlord, rather, in the main base, scouting all of the tech. And you can see here, Citadel follow-up to this 2-gate build from Junitos. This was a time where Corsairs weren't really seen as an essential unit in the Protoss versus Zerg matchup. Typically, a lot of Protoss players would like to rush to that Templar tech to get either Dark Templars for map control or High Templars out to get the quick storm to deal with Zerg units going into the mid-game. And there we go, the Templar Archive is also getting the Zealot legs as well, especially when you're going for a 2-gate build. You want to take advantage of that Zealot count, and with the Zealot legs, you can control the map before the Zerg gets any sort of map control, whether it be through lurkers or a large amount of units. ChOJJa is still trying to clear this conga line of Zealots in the back, and it's not really working out too well. But we've got a run by here from Junitos, trying to get some damage done. Maybe he's trying to run up the ramp once again. These Sunkens not really at the best spot to stop from the run, but I've got a drone drill here actually at the ramp. But was it 5 Zealots actually get into the main base of ChOJJa? A group of Lings do spawn from the hatchery of the main base, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of damage done onto this main base hatchery of ChOJJa, rather. Will this main hatchery go down? I don't think so. I think this will be enough Zerglings, but oh no! Some poor control from the from ChOJJa, as he will lose most of his Zerglings. Got a run by a Zealot that wasn't going to work out well there for Junitos, but it looks like ChOJJa will clean this up. He's also going to get the lair. It's around 1/5 of the HP, so once that lair is done, that main base will be back to full health, and we should be seeing him... Ooh, Burrow. That's an interesting move there from ChOJJa. We should be seeing ChOJJa Maynard a lot of these drones back to the main base, and as I say that, he will do that, as we do see a counterattack here from ChOJJa. He should be able to stop this expansion. We don't have too much here from Junitos. He's only got 1 Archon and 1 Zealot. Should be able to run back these Zerglings. Not until the Archon gets a couple of pops onto that army. And here's the Burrow. And without the Observer or Cannon for detection, this is going to be very obnoxious for Junitos. We see the main base. We've got the lair grabbing a few more ticks of HP with that completing. Junitos trying to complete this expansion still. No run by from ChOJJa though, as there is an Archon on the ramp. As ChOJJa is back to droning up. Let's see if he decides to take a 3rd base in response to Junitos taking his own expansion. And as we can see, the tech of choice for ChOJJa is going to be lurkers. Very common in this era to go for the lurkers, as a lot of Protoss players weren't really comfortable with dealing with lurker contains and attacking into lurker settlements, I guess you could say. And you can see immediately Junitos going for the robo. We haven't even seen a single Stargate yet, which is crazy. 10 minutes in, any sort of mutualist transition would probably do a lot of damage to Junitos. And you can see you've got the premature couple of cannons as well to deal with the mutualist, as well as the couple of Archons. This was a time where mutualist micro was not really a thing. Mutualist stacking did not come into the realm of StarCraft metagame until 2005-2006 when Shark introduced it to the competitive scene. So a lot of the Zerg playstyles at the time were you were either very aggressive with a lot of all-ins, low econ, or very high economy, as ChOJJa is doing right now. This is a very large drone count that he is working with at the moment. A lot of Zerglings, a lot of lurkers, a lot of Hydralisks, until you can secure the 3rd and 4th gases, and then you can transition to the high-tech units such as the Defiler and the Ultralisk. As we see here, ChOJJa going up with his army of lurkers and Zerglings to get a contain in, and it looks like he's not going to go for an actual attack onto this expansion. It looks like he's happy with just a simple contain here at the Mineral Natural. We got a drop coming up from Junitos. Got a couple of Dark Templars in, but it does fly over to the lurkers. Let's see if ChOJJa is prepared for it. Doesn't have any static defense in his main base. He's got an Overlord though to detect, but it doesn't seem that ChOJJa is paying much attention because there isn't any units coming up here to the main base of ChOJJa to deal with this Dark Templar attack. And it looks like the Dark Templar is going straight for the lair. Doesn't go for the drones at all. And looks like the Zerglings do come in to deflect these Dark Templars. Picks it up, trying to find an avenue to get a bit more damage done here. Looks like he might go for... No, he has to run off because of this single Hydralisk. Actually, what will be smart is if he drops a Dark Templar here. Oh my god, the Burrow comes into play for ChOJJa. And unfortunately for Junie, he's not going to be doing as much damage as he thought he would. And ChOJJa really needs to get that Spire. And as I say that, he does start that, as well as setting up his 3rd base here at the Mineral Natural. We go back to the base of Junitos. He's got 3 gateways going. He's got 2 more being added, 3 more now. And I think this is only just the +1. And as like again, another crazy time of May 2002 is that weapon upgrades weren't, or upgrades in general for all players, weren't seen as essential in making your build order. So this +1 is going to be done at around 13.5 minutes, and that is just crazy to think of in 2025. Do still have this contain going from our Zerg player ChOJJa. I don't see any observers anywhere. Okay, there's one here at the expansion. As we do see Junitos once again going to drop with that shuttle. Looks like it's going to force a cancel on this 4th base here at the 3 o'clock natural. An evolution chamber, 2 evolution chambers here for ChOJJa. It looks like it's going to start those upgrades once he gets enough gas to research those. I do also like this Overlord contain, I guess you could say, patrolling the edges of Junitos' main so you can see any shuttles that go out. Given the fact that Junitos hasn't got any Stargates at all to build any Corsairs to deal with these Overlords are just roaming around the map, giving ChOJJa free vision of the airspace up and around Junitos' base. Got the shuttle here, still trying to get some damage done. Nice Scourge being built. Kills off the shuttle. 1 Dark Templar does go down, another is hiding down here, but ChOJJa should be able to deal with that in due course. ChOJJa taking his 3rd base here at the 2 o'clock main, and with a couple of Hydralisks along with this Lurker, any sort of drops won't be able to deal with Junitos will be able to deal with any drops that Junitos decides to do. And another thing about Lost Temple and how annoying it was is these this elevated high ground that opponents can drop on. Siege tank drops were very popular at the time on this map because of this high ground. And speaking of the high ground, looks like we've got a bit of a Hydralisk drop being planned here from ChOJJa. Let's see if he decides to attack the main base or if he just wants to take control of this high ground. Looks like he's going to take control of this high ground. Let's see if he also decides to morph some lurkers here. He is starving for gas though. As we can see, Junitos is thinking about pushing out with this army that he has right now. It's got a bunch of Dragoons. Let's see if he has a Singularity range. I'm not too sure at the moment. Nice storm there from Junitos. Takes out a lot of units actually, a lot of Hydralisks, a couple of lurkers. As Junitos is trying to inch his way through this containment. It looks like he had a drone, ChOJJa, at this... oh, it's got another one here. Common strategy on this map is that once you got the initial lurking containment going, building a hatchery and just flooding the choke point with Sunkens and spore colonies just to stop your opponent from breaking through. So we got the drop here, loses the shuttle, but gets a couple of Archons here onto the high ground. Will he be dealing enough damage to deal with this Hydra drop? Yes, he will. And it looks like this high ground will be secured for now by Junitos with those couple of Archons, as we do see in the main base of ChOJJa. It's still Lelairtech. He's trying to get the +1 on the range and Carapace, as we do see Junitos actually pushing forward. Nice storms there onto the Hydralisk. Another nice storm onto the Lurkers as well. Junitos is inching his way bit by bit towards breaking through this lurking contain without the upgrades onto these Hydralisks and Lurkers. And +2 already onto the ground units of Junitos. He should be able to shred through this little containment that ChOJJa is having. That being said though, this 2 o'clock base is complete. And I think that was the Dark Templar that was hiding down here, so that will go down. Or it should go down. The Zerglings being on patrol. And I'm not sure why Junitos isn't killing those Zerglings, but speaking of Zerglings, there are no Zerglings going in production for ChOJJa, as he is continuing this Hydralisk production. Another drop here on the high ground. Kills one Archon. We've got Junitos meanwhile continuing to try and push forward. Another storm from the High Templar kills a bunch of Hydralisks as well, but ChOJJa is taking over the map surely. Slowly but surely. He's got this 2 o'clock base. As I mentioned before, this 2 o'clock natural is complete, and he is taking this 9 o'clock base. But Junitos is pushing forward. He's actually broken through that mineral natural base, and he is trying to find a good bunch of space to fight in. A lot of good storms, but also a lot of poor micro here from ChOJJa, as he does lose a bunch of his army in the middle of Lost Temple. And let's see if Junitos is able to clean up the rest of ChOJJa. It's not looking good for ChOJJa here. It is 125 rather for Junitos against the 87 of ChOJJa. But that being said, you got to remember, this main base is out of resources, so Junitos is effectively down to one base, and this one base isn't the most optimal of mineral formations, so to say, because of how Lost Temple was back in the day. Junitos does try to break through. He was taking that mineral expansion, but it does go down. This mineral expansion of ChOJJa does go down as well, with this big hunk of army that Junitos has at the moment. ChOJJa knows that if he defends from this big ball of Protoss ground army, he will win the game. So he's just desperately trying to get units out here to deal with this big army of Junitos. these High Templars, he's also got the energy upgrade on them, so they will be able to stock another High Templar, another Storm on their full energy count if they ever do get to 250. ChOJJa going to lose this expansion at the 3 o'clock. He's trying to reinforce his 2 o'clock base right now because it is probably the only base, or one of the only bases, that he can probably effectively hold on to at the moment. See, oh no, Junitos run A-moving his units, losing 3 High Templars to that Lurker and those Sunkens. That is devastating for Junitos there. And those had a lot of energy on them as well. I think around the time we checked, they were around 75, so they would probably have had 2 Storms banked onto them. So 6 Storms being lost there from Junitos is devastating. He is taking this expansion at the mineral only though, at his main 6 o'clock, so that should be well and done. ChOJJa does Maynard a bunch of workers to this, and I love this move here from ChOJJa, immediately picking up the drones instead of burrowing because he knows that there's an observer there. We'll get those drones out of the way because he doesn't want to be losing them at this stage of the game, as Junitos with a very beefy army here. A lot of Dragoons, a lot of High Templar will be able to clean up this 9 o'clock position, and he's got a bunch of Scourge. Not really sure what those are going to be for. Maybe just to patrol this little island area, as ChOJJa will probably take this base, given that he has a lot of drones being unloaded here from that expansion. More Scourge here from ChOJJa. I think he was just looking to use up the majority of his gas. And looks like the decision was to go for Scourge, but he needs to use this Scourge rather to take out the observers, because yep, there we go. So without the observers, these Lurkers will be able to hold on for quite a bit longer. There's another observer here for ChOJJa. A lot of the Scourge that are going for the observer fly into one of the Storms of Junitos, and Junitos is pushing forward, trying to clear out this expansion, which still has a few amounts of minerals left, but not too much. So not really a big of a loss for ChOJJa. The main loss will be the drones that he's going to lose from that base, as he was looking to go for a Mutalisk transition, but a lot of them popping out from that natural base, immediately dying to the Dragoons. He does have this 2 o'clock base that he's still mining, and has a pretty good amount of saturation here with the drone count. Junitos is taking this 9 o'clock base, and if he secures this base here at the 9 o'clock, it will be a comfortable victory, as he will have that extra gas to work with. ChOJJa does have this base at the, I guess, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock island. So it does have a couple of sources of income that are still streaming in for him. But not really effective at the moment with this, the 4. If he grabs a few drones, grab harvests from these mineral patches, he should be able to be a bit more effective up there. ChOJJa trying to do a bit of harass with these Lurkers, but immediately picks up. As he's actually going for a hive in the main base, which makes sense. We are 24 minutes in. Defilers will be great in these sort of scrappy situations that we are seeing here. But he's also building a lair at the main base. I'm not really sure what the purpose of that is, because he does have the speed and the drops already. Still being a nuisance here with these Lurkers, but Junitos is able to clean that up. Really needs to, okay. As I say that, transfers the workers from that expansion that he's about to mine out. Trying to pump as many probes as possible, because he is probably thinking about taking this base at the expansion. As ChOJJa starts to build up defenses on this island base. It's also got this 2 o'clock base that is still going, but around halfway done. Maybe you'll think about taking this base here at the 2 o'clock expansion. But the more time that ChOJJa gives to Junitos to get this next expansion and grab that additional gas is more time that that ChOJJa doesn't have, because he's getting a Great Aspire. He's got this group of Mutalisks, but it's a big gambit that ChOJJa is banking a lot of his resources on. And you can see Junitos has a very healthy high Templar count, and without any battles that have been happening for quite some time, there's a lot of energy onto these high Templar that will be able to deal a lot of damage onto these Mutalisks and soon to be Guardians once the Great Aspire does finish for ChOJJa. And we can see Junitos is actually moving across the map to this 2 o'clock base. He thinks that this is ChOJJa's last base, not aware that he does have this island. But to be completely frank, Junitos is in a very commanding position at the moment with this Nexus being completed. Got a Mutalisk counterattack here from ChOJJa. Really needs to get this Nexus. If he doesn't get this Nexus, it's not going to be... it's going to be pretty much over for ChOJJa. And it looks like it's going to be a straight counterattack here from Junitos, going for the main base. And this might be disastrous for ChOJJa, as he was hiding a whole bunch of Mutalisks here in his main base. Not too many Sunkens here in the main base. Oh no, if he goes for the Great Aspire, that's going to be all over Red Rover for ChOJJa. Trying to get those Guardians out, but he just doesn't have any resources. He's only got 500, 300 gas at the moment, and I think this is going to be over here for our Zerg player, ChOJJa. Yeah, you can see here, oh my god, the damage, the Corsairs and the Storm clear up. You got the 2 gates of Corsairs just being pumped, and it looks like it's going to be GG for ChOJJa as we are waiting the final seconds of this game. No upgrades on these Mutalisks. No tech as well for ChOJJa. Let's try and rebuild the Spire to get something done. Yeah, we can see spawning pool and hatchery being built at that 2 o'clock position. But looks like it is the beginning of the end here for our Zerg player ChOJJa, as Junitos postures for his final attack. Just clearing out these Sunkens, clearing out the rest of these units. Nice Storm onto the Lurker, should be able to clear out second Lurker that's at the 2 o'clock base of ChOJJa. He's got this island base, but without the hatchery count to replenish his unit count, looks like this game is going to be over. Got this base still up here for Junitos. He's also got this mineral natural as well. Should be thinking about taking this base, maybe even the island. It doesn't really matter at this point of the game. And there we go. ChOJJa has left the game. So, very nice game there. Very good look at what the Protoss vs Zerg meta was back in early 2002. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.